Hi learners, my name is Omondi Clinton from RCM. I teach business data analytics and advanced Excel. So today I want us to look at the question which was given to those who sat for their paper, the first group which sat for this paper which was introduced by CASNEP, that is business data analytics. So this was the question that was given out, and today we want to basically look at question number 5. Remember, the next sitting will be in the month of February, which is just 1 month away. So if you're preparing to do that exams, please join us at RCM Online College, because we will give you all the materials necessary for you to sit for that paper and get your good grade in just one attempt. So let's look at question 25 and see what was required. So question 25, Farmgate Company Limited produces and sells shovels. The company provides the following data: quantities of shovels produced and related production costs for the calendar year 2021. So as you can see, we've been given the month's quantity produced in units and the production costs. Then required, determine the variable cost per unit and the total variable costs using regression analysis. Estimate the total production cost if the following number of units are produced. Then prepare a chart plotting the predicted Y versus the actual Y from the regression function determined in A above. Then you interpret your answer. So this question was basically testing you on the management accounting concept under topic number 3 in the intermediate level called cost estimation. In the cost estimation, this is where we are going to estimate. This is where we estimate the costs incurred by an organization to produce a given product. Remember, these costs are classified into fixed and variable, and then you get the total fixed costs plus total variable cost, which ends up giving us the total production costs. So if you look at this question, remember we have been given quantities and production costs. So we do not know what amount in the total production cost is going to form our variable costs, and therefore we want to do that. We want to use the regression method to solve this question. So in the first part of this question, where we are told to determine the variable cost per unit and the total variable cost incurred using regression analysis, this is what we are going to basically do. We want to use regression method to get variable costs and fixed costs. So if you want to do or solve this question, first of all, you must identify the cost driver. Cost driver is the item that determines the total cost. What leads to changes in variable costs? So if we look at this question, we have quantity produced. Quantity produced will determine the total amount of variable costs. Remember, fixed costs are constant even if you produce 0 units. Fixed costs are constant even if we produce 0 units. So let's go ahead and get our variable cost per unit and even fixed cost, which is constant all through. So we will highlight the whole of this section here. Move to data. Move to data. Data analysis. Data analysis. Then you look for regression. Remember, you want to solve this question using regression method. So pick that. So what are our Y input? Y input automatically is the total production costs. So we highlight all of that column, including the title. Then our X input range will be now the quantities produced. We also include the title. Then down there we have this box where we are going to say that the first row is the label of our data. And then confidence level is supposed to be 95 as was given by the examiner. We were instructed that it should be 95%. Then output range, where we want our data to be generated. So let's put it here. Let's put our output range to be there. That's our output range. And then you say, okay. So if you look at this, we have already generated our results which was required in part A of this question, and therefore we can now come up with the cost function. So for us to come up with the cost function, remember this is the normal way of writing the cost function. So it is Y, which is total cost, equal to A plus BX, equal to A plus BX, whereby A is the fixed costs. So A is equal to fixed. A is equal to fixed costs. Then B is equal to variable costs. Variable costs per unit. B is variable cost per unit. And then in this question here, we also need to know our cost driver. Remember we said our cost driver is X, whatever determines the total cost is the cost driver which leads to changes in variable cost. Our fixed cost will remain constant. So if we have all these, we are going to be able to form that. So if we check down here what we generated, quantities produced or units here will give us the value of B. So this one here will give us the value of B, which is now the variable cost per unit. So as per our results, variable cost per unit is this, and our fixed costs here we've identified to be 39. So that's what we have as our fixed costs. So from this point here, we are able to come up with a production or cost function. So our Y will be equal to, A. What's the value of A? The value of A is 39, 77, 635.78. And then we are going to add BX. What is the value of B? 95.17x. 0.17x. So that is our cost function. That's our cost function. So intercept here is the value of A. Intercept here is the value of A. And then down here is going to be the value of B, of which the value of B is the gradient of the curve, the slope of the curve. That is change in Y over change in X. Change in Y over change in X. So having done that, we can now proceed and get, so we've identified variable costs per unit. We've identified variable cost per unit, which is 95.17 0.17. So are we able to get variable cost in this section here? Let us now go ahead and get our variable costs. And of course, we can also get our fixed costs. Fixed costs are now constant. So we've said our fixed cost is what we are now picking from this, and we simply log the whole of it. It will not change. So that is what we have as our fixed cost, constant all through. About variable cost, our variable costs here will be the variable cost per unit, which we are going to log, but then we multiply by the units produced. Units produced are what we have here. That is what I have there. So that is my total. That is my total variable costs for each group of the products. So if you want to get the totals down here, I can also just go ahead and get it. I simply highlight this and say alt equal. So that is the total variable cost of producing these goods for the whole of that year. So if you add these two, you will be able to get, the total production costs. You will be able to get the total production costs, which was already given down there. So that's what you are expected to do in Roman A of that question. That is what you are expected to do in Roman A of that question. So what do we have now? Estimate the total production costs if the following number of units are produced. So that is what we have there. That is what we have for the fixed costs and the variable costs. That is what we have for the fixed cost and the variable cost. Of course, you can do it this way. We've identified the fixed costs per unit. So it is constant. What we do now to get variable, it is total production costs minus fixed costs. So we have our, so that is what we are going to, have all through. That is what we are going to have all through. Simply take now, as per this question, we simply take the fixed cost which we've identified. Of course, it will not change. That's what we have there. And then we subtract from the total cost and get our total fixed and total variable. So that's what you are supposed to do in Roman A of the question. About Roman B, estimate the total production cost if the following number of units are produced. So we already have our equation. Of course, our total production cost will be, we have our fixed, which is something that is constant. So instead of bringing fixed again there, this is what you are supposed to do. So those are the units. Those are the units which we have. Those are the units which we have. So units, and we've already known variable cost per unit, and then fixed costs for any unit of production. So total production cost, total production cost will be equal to fixed costs. Remember, our y is equal to a. So what is the value of a? Here we have to log it plus, close the bracket, variable cost per unit. Then we multiply by the units produced, which is this one here. So if I do that, I'll be able to come up with the total production cost of producing these units, So that's 150,000. And here is my results for the total production cost, which is required in part B of the question. Part C, prepare a chart plotting the predicted Y versus the actual Y from the regression function determined in A above. So the examiner wants us to come up with the predicted and actual Y. Remember, Y is the total production cost. So we just pick these ones here for effective analysis. This is what we are going to do. Let's just bring it down here, somewhere there. So we have production cost. Of course, this one here is the actual. This one here is the actual production cost. And then estimated production costs, or predicted or estimated production cost is going to be generated by use of the function which we just identified. So we are going to say equal to Y. Y is equal to A, that is our A, plus B multiplied by X, this is our B, must be fully locked because we are not going to change away from it. Then we multiply by X, which is the units produced. So when I do that, this is what I am going to get, or this is what I'm getting for my results. So as you can see, they are almost the same, but this one here is as a result of the average which you are getting. So this is what we have for the month of January, where we have 150,000 units. The actual is giving us 18 million, while budgeted is giving us 18.253461 million. Okay, so the examiner wants us now to come up with a chart, to draw this. So what you do, you simply highlight the whole of this, convert it to a pivot table, and chart. So we just go to insert, and then down here we have pivot chart. Go to pivot chart and pivot table, convert it that way, and then since we want it to be given to us just within the same worksheet, I just do it somewhere here. So that's my output range. So let's pick the table first. So this is the table which you want to put, and then our output, we want to do it in the existing worksheet, and that's why we are going to put it there. Then you say okay. So if I do that, it will get me the chart and the table at the same place. So I want to take year, which the title was year, but it was given in months. And then I'll be taking the actual. And predicted to appear under value section. But remember, I want it to appear in months. So already, as you can see, it is giving me these options in months because I selected that. But I want to see that against quantity. Produced. So this quantity produced here will not be placed under values, but I will place it under axis. Under axis to see how it is going to affect these values here, how it is going to affect these values here. Of course, you can interchange them. You can interchange them to see what the months have. So you have the month here of August, May, and then the outcomes of these items, the outcome of these items. So that's what we have there. And then you now bring your chart, you bring your chart to be at a presentable place. Let's bring it here. Let's bring it here. Yes, so let's place it there and then do some adjustments to our chart. So we can expand it a little bit to have this generated. So that's what we have for the chart. That's what we have for our chart, whereby we have now pictorial or dashboard of the actual production costs and predicted production costs. So whatever was predicted is this one here, and then the actual is this one here. So that's what you're expected to do. Of course, you can do some adjustments here and there. You can sort your data. You can sort your data here. We have the months. You can put them A to Z, maybe, and you see what's happening. You can put them in another order. You can sort them in any way that you need. But then this one here, because we are comparing two different items, you want to see how tall one of them is maybe. So like in the month of August, we have two of them. In the month of August, we have this one here for the predicted, which was 90,000, and then actual is 110,000, still within that range. If you look at this here, predicted is 115, 398, 296. Actual is 16 million. So that's what you can see given there. That's what you expected to do in that question, and then you get your 20 marks. Remember, as I said earlier, we offer this course at 8,000 Kenya shillings. Your exams or next sitting will be in the month of February, which is just 1 month away. So please, for early preparation, so that you get all the concept about this paper here, please join us at RCM Online College. For any inquiry, please contact us via 07. Contact us via 07 19 525,000. We are looking forward to meeting you in our classes as you join RCM Online College. Thanks for your time, and please join us to get the solutions of the other questions for December sitting, which was just done yesterday.